Justice League Unlimited issue 10, Mark Waid writing with Dan Mora on the art. So yeah, so that's, again, we're doing building up to KO. We're doing Time Trapper stuff, where Time Trapper is fighting the Darkseid Legion and doesn't do so hot. Basically, he realizes he realizes that he's going to need the Justice League for help, as much to his chagrin. So he basically craps out of the time stream into the Watchtower, and Wally, Carol, Blue Beetle, and Black Lightning are sort of like standing around, being like, "That's Doomsday. That's Time Trapper. What are we doing here? Sorry." So there's a couple things going on here. One is that Time Trapper's time energy or time power is expanding, and anyone who gets too close to him will age quickly. Wally like kind of ages into an old man briefly and like pulls away, so he's fine. However, they send in Metamorpho to try and like, you know, cut out whatever and like operate on him to fix him so that he doesn't end up like swallowing the universe with his time energy that keeps expanding. So that's kind of the crisis that's going on, and they're all trying to fix that, and Metamorpho's using the fact that he can't age because he's technically just a bunch of elements. It's like, okay, fine, that's a fine idea. The other side of the story here is that Batman's going to Red Tornado to do background checks on all the Justice League Unlimited members, even though we flash back to his meeting with the Trinity, Superman and Wonder Woman, and they're basically debating if they should do this. And they're all agreeing that because of what happened to Airwave, they should vet new members more thoroughly. They should be aware of what pitfalls they might fall into if they are maybe accosted by a villain who's trying to blackmail them or manipulate them. Whereas Batman wants to do it in all the members that are currently active and make sure that everyone's fine. And Wonder Woman's kind of in the middle, going like, you know what, I'm all about truth, but this does feel like a bit of an unwanted invasion of privacy. And, you know, they get a little bit heated. You know, Batman makes a comment about, you know, giving like powers or costumes to superheroes, and then Superman hits back with, "Didn't you give Jason Todd a Robin outfit?" Which felt particularly snarky from Superman, I have to say.
Here's my take. We know that WAID is one of the architects behind the current ongoings of the DCU. I am worried this is going to affect Jason's personification and characterization going forward, because by this point, Jason's already had like how many different face turns? And now Superman's using this as a line like, "Didn't you give Jason Todd a Robin suit?" Where I feel like at this point in their friendship and their careers, Jason's more than made up for all the bad things he did as Red Hood when he came back, you know? So I'm very worried about that book that you're going to have to read, that it's going to be the lame version of Jason Todd that we all don't like. Because I can't see that Mark Waid throwing that in there for no reason, you know?
Sure.
But yeah.
I don't know, because they're talking about truth and all that, and he's like, "Are you a journalist with a secret identity?" Blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, that's going on as well. You know, I've been saying this a lot about this book, right? And I think this issue and last issue benefit from this having more of a direction, because there's a story it needs to tell for the ongoing universe. So I do think it's better than what would come before it. But, I mean, I don't think it's amazing. But I do think that it does at least have the benefit of direction, which in Mark Waid is always better when there's a story direction in mind, and it's just for a bunch of characters to fight. Also, that parademon they found back in, it was issue 2 or whatever it was, is in a cell, and Mr. Terrific's trying to talk to him, and it turns out he says like, "Oh, I was here to incubate," and I'm like, "Wait, incubate? As in like alien eggs? Like, what are you talking about?" And then sure enough, he bursts open and lots of little parademons or whatever it is comes spilling out into the cell and break out of the cell as well. The cell's not prepared for all these entities, so yeah, lots of cliffhangers going on in here. It's fair to say.
The baby parademons are kind of cute. They look like gremlins.
Yeah. Oh, and actually, I'm looking. I read this yesterday. I completely forgot about the other subplot. There's another subplot in Markovia with Geoforce and Power Girl and stuff. Because there's like apocalypse style little like hell pits forming randomly on Earth. So that feels like something we have to sort out. Yeah,
so they put together it's Captain Atom, that wolf Ghost Rider guy. Was it Kadiha? I hope I didn't say a bad word in Spanish. I'm looking for him and I don't see him on the League of Comics. There it is, Cadejos. And then Power Girl, they're trying to get to the bottom of the fire pit to see why it's coming up, which I thought that was pretty cool, putting them together.
Yeah, and there's a giant ass hand starts attacking them. Yeah, I completely forgot about that subplot. Jesus, there was a lot going on in this book. I will say, like the art of all the little monsters coming out of the parademon, I did think was quite cool. It was nice and it was like monstrous, but in a fun way. It had like a fun vibe to it. So that's very good. Meanwhile, Metamorpho's still trying to like dig into Time Trapper / Doomsday. So a lot going on. Maybe it's a little too overstuffed. I think that would be a fair thing to say. But at the very least here, it feels like there's a distinct momentum to all the plots. They're all setting something up that's all connected to Darkseid and like the oncoming stuff that's happening, specifically KO. So I can't be too mad overall at it. As far as like a tie-in or a pivotal part to the ongoing universe stuff, perfectly solid, entertaining enough read, but nothing special either. Nothing that's going to make you super hyped for it. It's like if you're interested in the ongoing DC universe, it's a solid chapter of that. If you're not and you just want good standalone books, you probably wouldn't be into reading this. Yeah, no,
I appreciate Mark Waid throwing so much stuff into this. Like them going to get Dr. Calder to work on Doomsday because of the alien physiology, right? And Metamorpho because he doesn't age because of the elemental nature of his stuff. So Calder's walking Metamorpho through essentially doing surgery. Yeah,
Martian Manhunter gives them like a telepathic link to each other, so he can see what he's seeing and talk him through it. Yeah.
Yep. I thought that was a lot of fun, and it's just like, again, Mark Waid knowing about all these characters, he knows the perfect people to put in those spots. So we don't.
Yeah, maybe just one or two less plots per issue, so you can sort of flesh them out, give them better pacing, kind of thing. I think that would help. But I think it's clear that not only do I like Mark Waid with a sense of direction, like Batman and Robin Year One, or even his Action Comics, honestly, right now, where it feels like it's building to stuff. But also just like a more focused Mark Waid, I think is better than the one who's doing like the entire universe and has all the characters to play with. I think that's where he likes playing with all of his toys too much, maybe a little bit.
Yep.
And it gets in the way of the good writing.
Absolutely. Because you look at Batman and Robin Year One and it's very focused. It is the first year of Batman and Robin working together and this new mob boss moving in, and he just lets it go, Yeah. And each issue has been phenomenal. So that definitely plays into that. But no, I had fun with this one. I thought Weird yesterday was a little bit too wonky for its own good. And this with a little bit more focus. Yeah. You could argue that there's too many plots, but I had a lot of fun reading this one, especially seeing the evil Mon-El, who after I read Superman, I thought, well, was that supposed to be Superboy Prime? Did he have a heel turn? And I was like, oh no, that guy's wearing red with a blue cape. That's Mon-El, which again plays into the Mark Waid, where one of his early Superman stories that when he came over was Superman dealing with Mon-El. So and he's in the future, So there's ties again there. So, but I think you hit it right on the head where Mark Waid with too many toys overwhelms everybody. You're just like, all right, dude, we get it. You love the DC universe. Let's cut this down a little bit. He works better with limitations.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. So yeah, we giving Justice League Unlimited issue 10?
I'm a 7.5.
No, I think I didn't go. Much like Superman, I think it's a 7. I think they're both perfectly good for what they're doing, but I'm not going to go above that for now. Maybe they'll wow me in the coming issues. I think between them, I don't know, it's tough to say. I think all the plot threads here are a nice, interesting mix. So maybe I think there's more potential in this book, but I think the Superman was a slightly better issue if I was to compare them head to head.